I'm Dawn, and this is where Shabby meets Bling. Today is the third Thursday in July, which means that my project today will be part of the third Thursday Thrift Flip, which is perfect for me because I love thrifting and I love flipping. And to be straight with you, I kind of like Thursdays because we're real close to the weekend. Bring on the weekend.
This day started with a trip to Goodwill, and this was my first prize I found, and $9.49 yellow tag, half off, and it is called an Icy Spruce Wreath. It is very pretty. The evergreen looks lifelike. I mean, so lifelike. I'm not overly fond of these kind of beat up little plastic beads on a stem, but that's okay. I also picked up this Christmas mat, this doormat, and it was half off, yellow tag. It looks new. I mean, so thrilled, and it's so cute. This was another lovely find. It's a Christmas tree, it's glass, and it's a dispenser, a beverage dispenser. And it has a base. I mean, the base alone would be worth half of the $6.49. But I am gonna change out the spigot on it, so I will flip that as well. And I got a few other fabulous items. But before I get started on my project, I would love to thank Tammy from the Rusted Willow and Elizabeth from Rustic Chicks Design for hosting this third Thursday Thrift Flip. The links to their fabulous channels and this playlist will be in the description box below. So here is my little prize, I think the win of the day. And you can see it came from a very nice place originally, Restoration Hardware. So super thrilled with my find. I need to remove those little crystal doodads, and they're not real crystal, that I'm not fond of. And I will save them because you never know when you could do something with little things like that, but they need to go. So we are gonna spruce up this little spruce. We are going to make her look like Christmas morning when you get that beautiful snow on Christmas Eve and you wake up and everything's just glittery and white and gorgeous. And so I'm giving her a little treatment. I tend to use this little method a lot around the Christmas holidays. What it is a mixture of sand and glitter. White sand, white glitter, and I'm using a matte Mod Podge because I don't want the Mod Podge to be shiny someplace. If I don't get my sand and glitter on it, I don't want it to stand out. So I'm using a matte, and if it dries, then you just don't know it was ever there. And I'm gonna cover this entire wreath and even part of the grapevine below. Okay, now what is gonna go on our spruced up wreath? Well, right now I am making a basic template. A template for what, you may ask? It's gonna be a pine cone. And yes, I have, surprisingly enough, hundreds of pine cones in my garage. Different sizes, big, little, huge. But I am going to make some out of burlap because this is going to be a shabby chic Christmas wreath. I am making 3 different sizes of templates total. Variety, you know, they say it's the spice of life. In this video, I make burlap roses. I will leave the link in the description box below. Now for the fun part. This is a beautiful brown burlap fabric, and it comes from burlapfabric.com. And I will leave the link in the description box below along with a coupon code, which is SHABBYMEETSBLING. You can get $5 off when you spend $5 or more. I am using an Ultra Hold Heat and Bond, and this stuff is amazing. Just follow the instructions, it's very easy, and bond it to your burlap. I'm tracing out, I think 11. I'm gonna trace out 11 pine cones. Variety of sizes, 3 of those, 4 of those, whatever the case may be. And then I am going to cut them all out. You have to have something to bond the burlap to, so my burlap is being bonded to a piece of beautiful dark brown felt, which will be the inside of all of our pine cones. I purchased my felt at Joann Fabrics with a coupon. Now to actually make our pine cones. And if you notice, I cut some notches out of the bottom. That is so that it doesn't get so thick on the inside and long, because it gets difficult to roll them. And that's what we're gonna do, is roll all of our little pine cones up, and we're just gonna stagger it so that it kind of becomes layered. Now, you will notice I am tucking in and gluing some of those tabs because in places we do want that pine cone to be thicker. And we're creating kind of like a little stair-stepped cone shape item. Cone shape. When you've almost rolled up your entire pine cone, you're gonna wanna add some wire to it because this is going into a wreath. And if you were gonna put an arrangement or whatnot, you could do the same. But you don't need to if you're gonna say make them and put them in a bowl. That would be gorgeous with some nuts. Absolutely gorgeous for fall and Christmas. So you hot glue really well, and then you just finish rolling the rest of your pine cone. Okay, so I know that no one is gonna ever see the bottom of my pine cones because they'll be hidden deep in the wreath. But I need to finish them off. Yeah. So I am making kind of like a little flower, and I'm making sure that I have an even number of those little petals. I have bonded my little flower looking thing, and I poked a hole in it in the center, and now I'm cutting through each and every little petal right where it divots in towards the center of the hole. And then every other little petal I'm going to cut out, totally cut it out. So the whole part of the little flower thing, I slid up the stem and I am gluing it to the base of the pine cone. And then each and every one of those little petals, or whatever they're called, I don't know the anatomy of a pine cone either, but I'm going to glue each little petal to the pine cone. Now, the little petals that I cut out, I'm gluing them in between the petals of the whole flower that I just added. And here's our finished pine cone. Now, it wouldn't be right if our little wreath was all frosty and our pine cones were not. So we're going to treat the pine cones the same as we treated our wreath.
The major components of our wreath are complete, but it needs a focal point. So now I need to focus on the focal point and some finishing touches.
I picked up these adorable, so cute, little snowshoes at a thrift shop, and I've had them for so many years. I can't tell you what I paid for them or where I got them, but I just know I've been waiting to use them in a project. It's your turn, little guys. I am using part of an old belt, and I've cut it into 2 equal straps, and I pulled out that inside piece that makes it thick, threaded a wire through it, and I'm going to create that little part on a snowshoe that you slip your foot in. How you going to wear a snowshoe without a strap to hold your shoe in? I feed it through the hole. I try to feed it through the hole. It fought me. But I will win. Once I have both sides of the strap through those little holes, I am trimming up the wire, and I'm just bending them through that very last hole, and I'm going to crimp them down so they stay nice and tight. I feel our wreath will still look a little bare, so I need some more. It needs more. And I thought, why not some large sleigh bells? Some jingle bells, but these are way too bright and shiny, so I rusted some. They're a little shabby, a little chic. You can see a little bit of the gold shine through, but oh man, are they pretty. To see how I create this rust treatment, check out my video, Real and Faux Rusting Techniques. I'll leave the link in the description box. I don't think a wreath is complete without a bow and ribbon. So I am spray painting this natural burlap ribbon a metallic gold. I am spraying both sides. This burlap ribbon comes from burlapfabric.com. I'll leave the link and the details in the description box. I still feel my little wreath needs more, so I'm going to add some eucalyptus and these little berry rings, which are tattered and torn and beat to you know what. So I'm going to disassemble them and I'm going to rewire them into picks, and I'm going to give them the same treatment as my wreath and my pine cones.
Those little snowshoes are complete. The finishing touches are complete. Now I just have to get them into what is now truly an icy spruce wreath. A little arranging, a little primping, a little hot gluing, and this project will be ready to share.
Here you see our burlap ribbon before and after, but now you see the metallic in the wreath itself. Doesn't it look beautiful? It's subtle, but oh, what a difference. And I decided to fray the edges to make it a little more shabby. And how about our focal point? Those little snowshoes. We added those little shoe straps, and now they can be worn, but they can't because they're in my wreath. And there's a really good look at those pine cones, those beautiful burlap pine cones, all frosty, because it is Christmas morning. And don't forget to check out our entire playlist of Christmas in July. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, share it with your family and friends and anyone that loves decor, and especially winter and Christmas decor. You can follow me on Instagram and check out my shop on Etsy. I'll be adding some new items real soon. You can support this channel by subscribing, so don't forget to subscribe. And for now, this is Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.